The annual general meeting is a statutory provision of the Botswana National Sports Act, and therefore a critical activity not to be missed. For to be missed, it will mean non-compliance, and I do not know the consequences for non-compliance. In the short time I have been charged to steer the ship at my ministry, I've had the opportunity to meet the executive committee to review progress made and plans by the council. I expect the council to set targets for delivery in line with strategic plan that has been developed. I am worried and concerned that 2 years down the line, the council has not come up with targets for monitoring progress made in implementing the 2028 strategy. I therefore urge you to ensure that your budget is aligned to the indicators as set out in your strategic plan. It is not enough to have the strategic plan. What is of importance is the execution of that strategy. I therefore believe that you will be alive to the issues of how to execute the strategy, reflect and introspect. The need for efficient and effective management of resources, especially we recover from the doldrums, economic doldrums, cannot be overemphasized. I will be meeting regularly with the executive committee to monitor performance in this regard. I must say, we have already started this process, and through these engagements, we are able to appreciate your issues even much better. In delivering the 2014-15 budget speech, the Minister of Finance and Development Planning indicated that government will continue with its efforts to reform the governance structures of parastatals, to give accountability to both their boards and management with clear performance targets. This, he indicated, was in a bid to allow government as a shareholder to contain costs and demand reasonable returns on equity invested in these organizations. We must play our role and be counted as an institution that is complying. Director of Ceremonies, there is no doubt that Botswana sport has grown over the years, and our athletes continue to make us proud and in the international arena. The case in point is the recent performance of Isaac Makwala, Nigel Amos at the Samsung Diamond League. While there are no flowers or bouquet for number twos, I must take this moment to pay tribute and recognize Amandle Manso's role. She is a thoroughbred of note, and she has placed us on the international map. This comes at the backdrop of impressive performance during the Second African Games. Everybody talks about the Second African Games. I think it was a great performance, and it's a point of reference that for many years, if not eclipsed, will always remain a bar that we must cross. In my speech, some 2-3 weeks ago, when I was with the team that was going to the Glasgow Games, I learned that 18 of our athletes were going there. And while I was having engagements with the team, I was told that we were targeting 7 medals. And I questioned, this is one thing that I still don't understand. And even at that meeting, I said, I don't understand how you deal with these things. Because when you send 18 athletes to compete, and you target 7, already in my understanding, you are saying 11 are just going to gain experience, just participate. And I always wonder, in terms of motivation, what goes through their heads. As they take off to Glasgow, are they saying, participate the hell? Even if I come home without a medal, it is fine. They know. So this is one area that I still have to learn how these things are done, that you can send a whole team where I expect 18 medals, but somehow you sports people, you know how to formulate these things that, no, don't worry. It's only 7 that will give you hope. So I need a mindset change for me to understand how it works. But in any case, we believe that we have sent a strong team. I stand here expecting 18 medals. The form of the medals is the one that I cannot determine, but that's what I would wish as we send teams to compete. We must expect everything. Director of Ceremonies, the government will continue to invest in sports in recognition of the important role it plays in the socio-economic development of any society. We have just hosted the second African Youth Games, where government spent 38 million pula. This is over and above annual subvention to the Botswana National Sports Council. Given the size of the economy relative to well-established economies like that of our neighboring country, South Africa, this is a huge investment by any standards. You will appreciate we are a developmental state. We still have so many priorities. We talk about roads that need to be maintained. We talk about clinics that must be improved. We talk about electrical networks that must be expanded. But still, the government sees the need to spend money in sports. By that extension, we are saying sport has a role in our economy. I would like to thank the private sector and individuals for their contribution towards successful hosting of the Games. Sport throughout the world thrives on the support of the private sector. I want to take this moment also to reflect on the second Youth African Games and to thank the volunteer corps and everybody who participated, and to thank Botswana for being one nation supporting the cause of sport. We put our differences behind and supported the team. I wish this continues to be the standard that we do, that when we deal with national issues, let's put our differences aside and support our athletes. Ladies and gentlemen, our sustained performance at the regional and international level is dependent upon putting a place of proper structures in developing sport. The long-awaited Botswana National Sports Commission bill has finally gone through Parliament. I must say, I had a difficult time from you because of your sectarian divisions and interests when we're dealing with what we wanted to be a national, unifying, one body. I hope, now that it has passed, all those differences must be buried and we move forward to make sure that we execute it as necessary. The regulations are being formulated and we want to believe that they will cater for everybody. The Act, among other things, addresses the issue of duplication of rules among sports bodies, alignment of the financial year to that of government budgeting process, professionalization of sport, anti-doping issues, and alignment to term of office for the board of the 4-year cycle for major sport competitions. This, we believe, will go a long way in improving sport management in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, while the Council has played a major role in developing sport excellence in this country, it is important that we view sport from a broader perspective in contributing to the general well-being of society. Through sports, young people develop an active and healthy lifestyle. Sport helps to inculcate discipline and good habits of life. It motivates young people to aim high, train to achieve, and learn to win and lose. It is for this reason that government will continue to come up with programs that are geared towards promoting mass participation in sport and using sport for development. In this regard, I would like to thank all companies that sponsor grassroots development of sport. While we do appreciate sponsorship for major events, funding is required for building the base for sustained development. I am therefore calling upon the private sector to partner with government in development and improvement of existing sports facilities. Director of Ceremonies, I'm mindful of the fact that part of the agendas of today's meeting is to elect executive committee. I'm appealing to you that your attention must not be drawn to this item at the expense of addressing critical policy issues and setting the budget priorities. I wish all those who will be standing for elections the best luck. For obvious reasons, I know the anxiety that goes with contesting an election, and I trust that you will conduct the elections responsibly and display a maturity in voting. I would not be hearing the what do they call this thing? When you sing and there's something, or something like that. I hope that re tla amogela maduo ba geso re ska ga nna bo ga ke amogele maduo. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take this moment to thank the chairperson of the BNSC and his team for their illustrious performance during their term, which I understand comes to an end today. They've done a sterling job, and I wish to thank them for their role. It is my pleasure to declare the 2014 Annual General Meeting of the Botswana National Sports Council open. I thank you for your attention.